This is the Chronorad Alert. Civil defense information will be broadcast at 6:40.
West of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hello.
Y2K, how can we prepare?
Stop a few of their machines and radios. Throw them into darkness for a few hours.
We are fighting for our lives. My family must survive.
Over 5 years, 1,000 gallons of gas, air filtration, water filtration.
Coming at you from the frozen tundra that is East Central Alberta, Canada, streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Rumble, and Odyssey. Welcome back to the workshop where we create community, find freedom, promote preparedness, and share success. I'm Toolman Tim. Today is July 13th, 2023, and this is episode 337 of Workshop Radio. I got a couple of bad-looking dudes in the background waiting to come on here with me in a minute. We're going to have another iteration of the Post-Apocalyptic Book Club. We're talking about the final day tonight. And before we do that, I've got a couple of announcements to get out of the way, and then we'll dive right in, folks. First off, Thursday evening, so we cannot forget, my good brother Joel Riles from Fortress K9. If you're looking to be motivated, if you're looking to be kicked in the ass and told, hey, this is how you do it, just do it and get over it, Joel's the dude to do it. He's not just a dog trainer, which he is. He's way more than that, but he's also a motivator. He's a guy who has built his life up from basically from the ashes, rebuilt something even better than he had before. I'm awfully proud of him, and the dude is an inspiration to all of us. So if you're looking to feel a little more motivation in your ear holes, add the Protection Dog podcast to your feed. And guys, okay, two things that are kind of linked together. First, I think I have gotten into contact with everybody for silver. So what is left, I put up on the site today. So there's 3 sets left. If there's anybody out there who said, shit, I wanted to get one, it's really simple now. I now have a Shopify site, and the silver's up there. The old all the back patches are up there. Just put up the very first mug. It is an enamel camping style mug. Got a bunch of things I'm working on. But if you go to toolmantim.shop and you want to pick up one of those last 3 rounds of silver, they are there for whoever gets there first. So with that, let's bring on, give me one sec here, guys. We got Brother Nate and Brother Byron. Let's change that up. That's kind of a weird view there. There we go. How is everybody?
Doing pretty good. How about you?
Oh, good. Couldn't complain. I complained and my wife wouldn't listen to me, so that's what I'm doing down in the basement tonight. So, so have you, Nate, have you read this book before?
Yes.
Okay, so this is your second time through?
Yeah, this is my second time through it. So my first impressions are it's better than the others. Well, better than the second one, at least.
Yes. I want to get to that. Yeah, this is my third time reading it, and each time I've liked it more, and it's head and shoulders above book 2. And the more I read it, especially the last third, it really stands with the first book. Mm-hmm. It may not be quite as good simply because the first book is the first book, you know, but man, yeah, I liked it. Just going to shout out to Backwoods Butcher and Mr. Landfill in the audience. Good to have you folks. And we got Mr. Byron sitting all by himself down there tonight. How are you, brother?
Good, you?
Well, you're looking at it, you know, ugly as ever. So that's good. I got a good voice for, or a good face for radio. So you know how it is. So how's your week been?
Busy again.
Yeah,
It's
good, though.
Been a pretty nonstop week again. So,
what have you been up to?
Work is about it. Work take most of my time. Then had a family cookout, which I made a post in the Telegram group. Found out about the new grandbaby.
Yes, congratulations!
Thank you.
Yeah, I love it. We got somebody with a new grandbaby. I got a couple that's engaged. Man, it's been a fun time lately. So what'd you cook for the cookout?
Just hamburgers and hot dogs, what the daughter wanted. So
okay, man, ain't nothing wrong with that. I love that every time. So
hamburgers, hot dogs, my first time making baked beans in a crock pot. So
there you go.
How'd they turn out?
Turned out pretty good.
Did you make them from scratch, like soak them and everything?
No, I didn't. I used canned beans and just added my own seasonings and everything to it.
Oh, no, it's all right. You ever want to get real adventurous? Make baked beans from scratch with navy beans, soak them overnight, and oh man, I'll send you my recipe. I got one. Now I don't know if you like them with molasses or not, but that's growing up. That's how we had them, was with molasses.
Yeah, I use honey and brown sugar in this one.
I could take that too.
I usually I'm smoking. I usually cook some and put them in the smoker.
For
a couple hours.
Beans. Man, that would make your fart smell like a cigar, wouldn't it? Backwood says he loves these episodes, save him from having to read. Oh, I get it. I'm not going to make any jokes. I'm just happy to have him here this evening. It's great to have him. I'm not going to make any jokes about reading at a grade 3 level or anything like that. So,
well, the next book everybody's going to want to read.
Oh, I hope so. I can't wait.
I can't wait till it comes out next month.
So I called. I might as well fill you in. I called Bill because he told me to call him Bill. But anyway, I called him. And his voicemail is forever full. He doesn't, I don't think, anyway, it's just whenever you call, it just says voicemail is full. But he called me back and he's like, I'm heading out. Call me in a week. And I've been trying to get a hold of him ever since. And he hasn't answered or been busy. So hopefully I will get him back. I'm doing my best to get him here. So, and Chris says he listens to books. Yes, we should let Kyle know that that's an option. You are allowed to listen to books as well. Did I ask you, Byron, is this your first read through of this one, or have you read this one?
I've read it about a time and a half now, so I hadn't read it. Then I kind of reread about, skimmed through most of it again this last week, get ready for it tonight. So, what
were your thoughts on this one?
I'm like Nate. It's better than the second one. It could be, to me, you can almost combine the 2 and 3, take out some of the fluff, the filler in the book 2 and book 3, that make them one good book into the second series instead of.
I can see that. There's some similarities between book 2 and book 3, but at the same time, there's some differences to it. I don't know. Book 2, after reading book 3, book 2 almost feels like like a novella, like the story that they tell could have been told in 3 or 4 chapters as opposed to.
It could be 150 pages instead of. Or less.
Yeah. Could have been maybe an epilogue or whatever, But I remember the first time I read this book, and of course, not being an American, the Civil War stuff. Now, I've always been interested in Civil War, but I still don't know a ton about it. And I got a little lost in it the first time, but the second time I read the book, I really appreciated how he kind of tied in a lot of the Civil War stuff with what was going on. And then, of course, today is the third time. Finished it today, and I was really, I don't know. I just enjoy it more and more every time. I don't know it. Any book that has a really good conspiracy in it, and I think he did a pretty damn good job. And it maybe slid more. I think his writing was really good in this one. I mean, you can tell he's a historian who loves to interject history into the books, but. I like his asides. Like, of course, we're going to, if we get to him tonight, I'm going to read a couple of the 1-star reviews off of Goodreads. And some people, their problem is, he talks too much. Yeah, Jody. Hey, Jody. Said so much talking, not much action. I wish it were half the length. I can see that. But I don't know. I'm a geek for kind of history and stuff, and I love the deep dives into the Enigma machine and talking about how they landed. Was it the Apollo spacecraft on the? Yeah. So, what do you think, Nate?
It was really interesting to hear a lot of the history. I'm a big history person, so that's kind of always been the one thing I enjoyed. And it's like I kind of want to go down to Gettysburg and look over that area and see what they see while I'm down there. And that would give me a better view, because I've never been down there.
Obviously I haven't yet.
I do like I remember there were a couple, when they showed up at Little Round Top, there was that couple jabs back and forth between the North and the South. I don't know if you guys caught that.
Yeah.
I might have missed it. If you could fill, what was it?
Byron, you might remember what it is. I know Lee made a crack.
Yeah, Lee. Then Talk about the Maine boys and the Carolina boys being the. Oh, yeah, I can see it right there in the book.
Yeah, I know there was a crack. I don't remember exactly what it was.
Yeah, then they made the comment if they had
the helicopters.
one of the helicopters, the South would have won.
Yeah. Oh yes, I do. Yeah, I remember that today. Now I just didn't catch that was a dig on the South, or South and North, right? But
yeah, and then the other guy, sorry, pulling up a blank. The main guy, John, made the comment back, well, if the North had him, it wouldn't be a problem.
Right.
It's as bad as the video popped up on my YouTube, suggestions was, what if America had one F-15 during Pearl Harbor?
Yeah.
I was like, I can't go into it right now. I had to save it for later.
Speaking of Pearl Harbor, I'm sure, being that Fortune is a historian, that desalination story, I was super intrigued by that. And there's so much of this, the whole book is kind of, there's this undertone of these kind of obscure historical encryption or cryptography type things, between, the leaking of the information for the desalination, breaking the Enigma machine. And my favorite, of course, was the politician who was sexting his.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, that was great. And we get him on the show again. I'd love to pick his brain, because I'll bet you dollars to donuts that's based on some sort of real, where somebody somewhere was sending flirtatious messages to somebody and got caught for it.
Yeah.
Did you catch his reference to people downloading PDFs instead of buying the books?
Oh, I most certainly did. Yeah. That was a dig. I'm like, I was walking the morning when I read it, when I heard that, and I'm like, here's my deal. I don't know, and maybe I'm wrong, but my belief on this for the most part is if somebody downloads it, they weren't going to buy the book to begin with. And I might be wrong. I don't know. So let's work our way through. I took some notes chapter by chapter. We'll one more thing I wanted to talk about. Bob Scales, his friend there, the godfather of his daughters. The first time I read this book, everything he just seemed so weird in this book, because he would always be talking out of two sides of his mouth, But by the time I listened to it this time, it made a lot more sense. He was trying to play, everything he did was, I think I finally clued into the fact that most of what he was doing it because he knew there were spies that were going to report back. And I don't know why I knew there were spies, but I just never really clued into the fact that the big reason he was acting so strange was because there was ears everywhere.
Right. He was being a true politician. He was playing the politician to a T.
Oh, 100% he was. So, question, do you think we'll ever find out who the spies were, or do you think it even matters?
I want to know. It drove me crazy in this book. I'm like, I want to know who it is.
Me too. Because we didn't find out in book 2 either, did we?
No.
And I have a feeling it's probably somebody on the council.
Yes.
The city council.
I thought it's Ernie.
So, okay. I was reading through.
Just because he made the comment John made the comment of all the MREs he had. And I know everybody wants MREs, but he had the newer, he had MREs stockpiled. Like he made a cartons or cases, whatever he said when he first went in Ernie's house.
So reading through Goodreads, there was somebody with a review that said that exact thing, that they thought Ernie was the spy as well. And I never clued into me that it could be, because he just seems so damn passionate about everything he was doing. And if it is, him or his wife especially puts on a good show. But I don't know.
It's the fact they cracked the code so quick too might say something.
Well, yeah, that's true. It did seem a little, I don't know. Who knows? It'd be interesting if Bob was feeding them if they were feeding both directions too, but
could be.
I don't know. So, I couldn't remember if we found out in book 2 that Forrest survived or not. I kind of assumed he died. Did they actually say he survived, or did I miss that?
I thought they did.
Did they? Do you remember,
I thought-
Byron?
Yeah. I think they didn't. They said he survived, but he just, he
Okay.
went back to his people.
Yeah.
I figured for sure he was going to drop dead. But
he went back to work with his people as a mediator to help John's.
I definitely enjoy, and he's the one with one arm, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And he was the one that took John up over the mountain to go see Bob Scales' informant, right, Quentin?
Right.
Yeah.
I just picture this one-armed dude because they said he has no fear of death. He's driving like an absolute asshole up and over this mountain, and John's like, I just don't get it. He's not scared at all. And I could just picture this dude with one arm, his little stump flapping around and them going like mad. And I'm thinking, anyway, it's a cool mental picture, that's for sure. But
real quick, since you have this up there, the Civil War is an awesome subject to dive into.
Oh yeah,
I will give you one podcast to go listen to.
Okay,
and that is C.J. Kilmer and his history of the Civil War. He's got probably 40 to 50 hours on the Civil War.
Wow.
It is it's an amazing series. It's Prof. CJ.
Prof. CJ. Okay.
Yep.
Dangerous. Not too long ago, right?
Dangerous History Podcast is the podcast.
Okay. We'll have to check it out because I enjoy the Civil War. I always have. I always like movies about it, and the Ken Burns documentary I thought was really good back in the day.
Yeah. He's got a good one on Wilson, too. He's going through that series. That thing's 50 or 60 hours long so far.
On what one?
Woodrow Wilson.
Oh, okay. I'm going to have to... He was a president, right?
Yeah, that's the guy who was around when the Federal Reserve got kicked up.
Oh, I'm going to have to check it out. Anyway, we got Dave Siegler in here, too, tonight. We got to shout him out. He's been around a little bit lately. Just... you should see that if anybody saw the set of bathroom taps that he just installed, they're gorgeous. But said he enjoyed the first one. The second was a bit lackluster. Hopefully this one recovers some of the energy from the original. It does, especially the last third. I mean,
yes.
it plays like, I guess the more I read it, it plays like the spy novels from the 80s, eh? Mm-hmm. Or, probably my favorite... I don't know, maybe my favorite Marvel movie was Winter Soldier because it was one of those political spy films. Still had action in it, but so it plays more like that. And the last, like I said, the last third is it's fire. I love it. Yeah. So I'm just going to warn you, David. Spoilers abound this evening. So if you're listening, there's nothing off the table. The only thing we can't spoil is book 4 because it's not released yet. So here we are. So what'd you think of Quentin Reynolds? So that's the guy that Scales sent or didn't send?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think he sent him, and he just had to say that he deserted.
To cover his ass. That makes, in case, again, prying ears, right?
Yeah.
Or prying eyes.
I mean, first go through, I didn't trust him. I didn't trust Bob at all.
Exactly. Me either.
Mm-mm.
And it's like, the second time through, it's like you start reading into it a little bit more and going, okay, it makes a little bit more sense now. It's, kind of, he's hiding things.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm guessing probably that Fortune probably wrote it that way because he wanted you to not really know. Because you don't really know. So, when they're in the helicopter heading to Gettysburg, even at that moment, John has a conversation in his brain or in inner monologue. He says, what happens if there's nobody in Site R? Because at that, he's still not 100% convinced that Bob is legit, or that if there is nobody in Site R, that they won't just turn around and turn everybody in,
Right.
So, you get to, what is it, chapter 15 or 16 before you really know who Bob is,
mm-hmm.
And then it turns out he's George freaking Washington. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. So
yeah, man, it's you start wondering if he's going to Bluemont, and then you realize that he's not. The second that John figures it out on the plane, he's like, "Well, I know where Bluemont is, and if we keep going on this heading, it's to the west of us."
Yes, yeah. So I looked it up on a map because I wasn't sure. So from Black Mountain to Bluemont is about 400 miles. From Black Mountain to Gettysburg is 500 miles. And of course they're not that far apart, but of course, Bluemont is basically up the East Coast, whereas you got to go inland just a little bit for Gettysburg. Mm-hmm. So Rachel says the inner monologues get annoying. I dig it. It does. Sometimes you're like, okay, let's get out of his head and let's get back to the chatting. But one thing I thought that he did well in this, there wasn't a whole lot of like full chapters of the Senate or the government groups just chatting.
Yeah.
And the couple sections where it was, they didn't last very long. So I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
So what'd you think of the old computer getting up and working?
That was pretty badass. I would not think about that, to be honest. But now I kind of know, just save any old laptops and hide them away.
Just throw them in the corner. I wrote that question down. What do you think, Byron?
Yeah, it was pretty interesting. I would have never thought, that's something that old, because I deal with a lot of electronics at work. We get a lot of old electronics at work. I'm like, I would have never, tucked away in a basement like that, storage, that it was safe.
It makes sense. It was in this that he talked about the guy that invented the telescope, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and this is the thing, here they are. This has been almost 3 years. Everybody's just busy trying to stay alive. So it's not like they have any time to go look for computers or, look through Mother Earth News or things like that. Like there was a couple of them doing it, but there wasn't a lot. And I liked how he kind of likened it to that because, he's basically, it took 800 years for people to think to take two lenses and line them up together,
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we got John Palmer on too. Let's bring him on. Hey, Brother Palmer, how are you?
Oh, well, just headed home. I'm doing all right, I guess.
Right on.
How's everybody?
Good. We're not too far into it. I don't know. We've kind of maybe through chapter 1 so far. So.
Remind me, we're on the third book, right?
Yeah, final day.
Okay. Yeah, where they go in and raid the compound or whatever you want to call it.
Yes,
the bunker.
It's probably, I don't know, man. Those 3 chapters are I don't know. Other than maybe the retirement home scene in the first book, it's probably my second favorite section of any of the books. I loved it.
Yeah.
And it gets better as it goes.
Yeah.
I was actually, any of you guys see the movie Terminator 3?
When I was a kid, years ago.
Yeah, not as good as 1 or 2, of course, but I'm going to spoil the film for anybody out there who hasn't seen a 22-year-old film at this point. But at the end, I forget how it goes, but you think they're going to survive, or the bombs aren't going to happen, and they end up in this Cold War bomb shelter locked in, and that's what I picture is all these old computers and old TVs, and looks like something out of Blast from the Past,
Yeah.
Yep.
Tim, you really have a way of making a guy feel old.
Oh, I know. Man, yeah. That movie came out, I think it was 2001 or 2002, something like that. But I'm pretty good at that. Ask my wife, So Ernie and his wife. We'll pretend like there was no discussion of him possibly being a spy because I'm not sold on that. But what did you think about the fact? Is it legitimate that a family of 6 or 8 people could still be thriving off of their preps after almost 3 years? What do you guys think?
If you're smart enough about it, why not?
Oh yeah, well, I was thinking that. What do you think, Byron?
Yeah, I mean, he seemed like he was smart enough to, he knew what, he probably had a spreadsheet and had broke down, and they were probably limited. This is this meal, rice and beans today, then you might get a fancier meal tomorrow. They probably would be the people that had the complete spreadsheet of everything broke down. You're going to eat this today, tomorrow, next day. This is leftovers.
it certainly made me think about upping my long-term storage again.
Oh yeah.
We got about halfway through last year, putting about a year's worth of dry goods up. So I'd say about half of what we needed. And I keep saying, honey, we got to get back at it. We got to get back at it. Here we are. So what do you think, John?
I think that person in that SUV right there that just ran into that wall nose first is having a lot worse day than I am.
No.
A little Nissan Xterra looked like it spun around and nosed into the wall. Yeah, I could see it if they were making good money and they were conscious enough of what they needed, which it sounded like they'd have been the type of people would have been. You could have a lot of freeze dried food that lasts, plenty long enough, and like you said, buckets of stuff, and just I could see it. I mean, I don't have that much. I would say I was thinking about it, trying to do some just mental calculations in my head the other day, and I think I could feed me and my wife, maybe not as comfortably as it sounded like they were, but and we might get tired of eating some stuff, but I could probably feed me and my wife for a year and not ever have to worry about it.
I suppose it's true. And when you think about it, when we did the calculations, now you're not going to eat perfectly, but about a pallet's worth of dry goods is enough for a family of 4 to live off of for a year. If you've got 5-gallon buckets, what are they, 3 high and basically the footprint of a pallet. So that's not, it is what it is. But, and Yozik says he was a nut job and they were both highly intelligent.
Yeah. He was probably the poster boy for doomsday preppers.
There is a fine line between genius and insanity,
Yes. And they both rode that like a razor's edge, him and his wife. They said, didn't they say his wife was it Asperger's?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That makes sense. And I think, I don't, I'm no expert, but I kind of think Ernie had something too. And maybe he was just a dick. I don't know. But he was damn confrontational. He had zero people skills.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I don't know. Oh, go ahead.
I think he was just a dick.
I can relate.
He was probably raised up the single kid. He got everything he wanted, and he expected that as he got older.
That's
thought
true.
everybody should bow down to him, I guess.
Everybody but his wife.
Yeah.
I love that. It was so perfect because, you get those, anyway, you get these guys that they're assholes to everybody and anybody out there. And then at home, they're whipped as, what? It was cute. I really enjoyed that part of it for sure. So they had Rachel says both of them had zero people skills. I would venture to say that the wife who has Asperger's had better people skills than Ernie, who was probably just a dickhole.
Yeah.
Well, they had people skills to the right people. We got to get that out of the way.
Yeah. And they just knew what they had to do. They knew how to rip off, what was it? Middle East terrorist groups if they needed to. And
that actually happened.
Did it really?
Yes. So
I've never heard. Yeah, go ahead.
Maybe 5 to 10 years ago, Iran. One of their systems went down, and I want to say it was in their nuclear thing they were working on.
Okay.
And I want to say it was due to a computer virus.
Really?
So I vaguely remember that a couple years ago. So I want to say that he might have been referencing that.
That could be. I thought it was cool, and it seems like one of those things that's probably out there in lore as it is. Somebody who's like, oh, guess what? We didn't get paid, so we didn't get our money, but guess what? We toasted their hard drives. So, John, again, I think it was inner monologue when he was talking, but I love that saying where wood heat warms you twice, once when you cut it and the second time when you burn it.
Mm-hmm.
And there was really, I don't know. I don't know if Fortune talks about himself as a prepper or not, but this book probably slid into the prepper porn more than any of them, where they spent quite a bit of time talking about things like the different types of wood that you could burn. Pine for quick hot fires, and ash you could burn off the stump if you needed it. And it was I liked the conversation that he had discussing how much work it was. He said that's why farmers loved having extra sons and how they started thinking about cutting wood before winter was even over.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to look it up. The average January low in Black Mountain was 26 degrees. So it barely gets below freezing. I mean, that's chilly. Don't get me wrong, but and on average per winter, they get a whopping 12 inches of snow. So
it's more than us.
Yeah, I had to laugh. I was like, oh, okay, it is what it is. But
yeah, some of us are not impaired enough to live in places like you, Tim, where the weather's not exactly weather. It's like an emergency for half the year.
Where the weather will kill you.
It's true. Yeah. I mean, I'm everybody has it different, and I just had to laugh because they talk about the snow and the cold. And if you live there, 26 could still kill you, but and again, they probably don't have. Yeah, Backwoods Butcher says 12 inches. That's adorable. That's exactly. Yeah, that's
when it snows around here, it fills the potholes so we can drive faster.
You kid, but we do the same thing. Our roads are smoother here in the winter because they just scrape the snow off but leave the ice. Beautiful. I love it. What about the a throwaway line in this chapter was that Fredericks decided he wanted to confiscate all the silver and gold coins. Did you guys catch that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was it. They were going to give him a $100 bill for the silver and $1,000 for the gold.
Yeah.
It didn't really work out, I don't think.
No, and he even said the only people that did that were the ones that got caught using it.
Yeah, that was it. Jen's husband, there wasn't much mention of Jen, but she was a memory constantly in the book, which was cool. Her husband George had all his junk silver in mason jars down in the basement.
Oh yeah.
I love that. I was a great picture. I could just think, because he was, bitching about how, they're going away from the silver or whatever. And so he just started throwing it in the jars, and they had a whole bunch of them. And, Jody says, this is good. Says, I'm about an hour from Black Mountain, and for here, they are cold because we don't get that cold even an hour to the east. And I'm guessing it probably has to do with the mountains, I would think. Just higher elevations. Where do we go? Okay. I had some notes about Forrest driving like an idiot in the winter, with his arm out the window. And this was where we found out that they found a truck full of K-cups, wasn't it?
Yeah, the whole trailer load over the wheel.
Trailer load, yes. It was K-cups and
cigarettes.
Cigarettes, yeah.
It was like the ultimate addiction trailer. If it had some bourbon in there, it's set.
So,
okay. They got Scotch and Cubans from the...
aircraft carrier, wasn't it? Or
yeah.
So what did let's jump ahead right quick since we're talking about cigarettes. What did you guys think of the fact that John fell off the wagon with his cigarettes? Anybody got an opinion on that?
I think it was coming. He kind of teased it every time somebody would light one up. He would kind of said he would inhale, or just made him think about it.
What do you think, Nate?
I have my days.
Sure.
I will admit it.
What I liked about it was that it showed that he was human, because so often, that old trope is played out where a character's passed away. I made them a promise and I'll never do it. And it made him look fallible. I was like, it's okay. I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, if I just found what they found, I probably would have lit up a smoke too. Mm-hmm. And I was okay with it. I enjoyed it. It bugged me. No, you know what? I'm not going to talk about the negative review yet. We'll get to that after. So, and Backwoods Butcher said I would cry with joy if I found that trailer. Well, I'm a bit like Danny from Going Home. I have bags and bags of salvaged or saved stuff from hotels, including lots of different types of coffee.
Oh yeah, we always you gotta take that. You pay for it, so
Absolutely. We have so many bags now that Becky's picking up a couple of small Rubbermaids, so when the girls get back, they can organize all the stuff. So we've made a good collection over the years.
I personally never found a use for it, so I usually just leave it there.
You know what? We use lots of it, but at the same time, again, it's just saved for a rainy day. Soaps and coffee. Rachel says puking at bad smells made him fallible too. Absolutely. There was lots of things that made him fallible. So, speaking of puking, his poor buddy Lee. And I really enjoyed Lee as a character. I was quite sad to see where his character ended up at the end of this book. But my God, wasn't it funny? The poor dude, he did... First, he's with John in the back seat, going up over the mountain with Forrest, driving like a complete asshole. And then all of a sudden they're on, wasn't a Black Hawk. What kind of helicopter was it? Or was it?
Yes, Black Hawk.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he was in the back with somebody who barely knew how to fly it or pilot it, getting sick all over the place. And then later on, what does he say? If I'd have known this was going to be another helicopter ride, I would have stayed behind or whatever.
Yep.
Chuck says, convenience stores are a great place to get plastic forks and knives and condiments. I'm going to go on a little tangent for a second. We were in Edmonton last weekend, and we have Skip the Dishes up here, which is like Uber Eats. So in Edmonton now, if you get fast food and they put it in a paper bag, they charge you 25 cents for the paper bag, and they won't give you anything. Like you do not get any cutlery or anything unless you ask for it. It's law there now. So you wonder why I want to move south. So
good.
You still got to be careful where you move to. California, they don't even let you have real straws. It's like paper straws or some shit.
I ain't going to be within 100 miles of California if I can help it. I mean, is it beautiful? Sure it is. But yeah, paper straws. All of the cutlery's made out of wood now. It's anyway.
So, all right, I'll go on the paper straw tangent here for a minute. Brookfield Zoo here, so we have a membership to go there with the kids, and they have like one of the places sells milkshakes.
Okay.
So we always stop and get them.
Right.
The paper straws last all of like 5 seconds.
Yeah. Yep. A&W has, they recently just gave up milkshakes, and I think it's for that reason, because they couldn't get a paper straw to work with their milkshake. So I don't know.
We just, there's a reason I have the SOE straw bag. It's full of straws.
He has a straw bag?
Yeah, it was a giveaway one of the weeks.
Okay.
It's, it was like a year or two ago. If you put the code in, he sent you the bag. And it's, 12 inches long, about 2 inches wide. And it's for metal straws.
That's what I use, is the stainless steel straws.
I got to get some. So they drop a streamer to Bob, let him know that he's alive or whatever, and knocks his hand on the side of the elevator. What am I talking about? Helicopter. And they get shot as they're flying. I kind of enjoyed that. That was rather tense and fun to hear what happened, because they immediately almost shut off one engine or pretty close to it.
Yeah.
And then they basically made it in. I would have liked to have heard more about the dude at the airport that was rebuilding the helicopter for him.
That would have been very interesting to hear, because I'm following a guy who is rebuilding a Black Hawk.
Okay.
And those engines are not cheap.
I can't imagine.
He's flat out said if he blows the motor, it's $1 million.
Jeez.
So
I couldn't imagine.
It's ridiculous.
Rachel says she knows the graveyard that they buried him in. I thought it was cool that they took him back and buried him in a Civil War graveyard. I thought that was a nice touch, actually. So there's a lot of time where it goes back and forth in the middle here, where Bob shows up, they have a conversation. He says, I'm supposed to arrest you, but I'm not going to arrest you. I'm going to leave you be, but watch your back. And, they go back and forth like that for a bit, and that's cool. That might have been the only spot where I enjoyed it, because it was kind of that subterfuge where you didn't really know what was going to happen. But what about the attack on John's house? I thought that was kind of a tense and interesting situation.
Yeah, Grace is lucky she didn't get a bullet to the head.
Which one was Grace?
Grace was the one that stuck her head up in the attic after the fact.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. Oh, I was quite impressed that John had the balls to go to the attic. I really was, because 99 people out of 100 would have went straight out the back door, or what are you going to do? You see him coming, but you've got, was it 8? What'd they call them? Special op guys, or some kind of how? Okay. Here's a question maybe nobody knows the answer to, but they said it was a sound muffled helicopter.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Any idea how the hell that works?
So they're not gonna. It's pretty well classified, but I know that those helicopters they used during the Bin Laden raid, were some kind of Black Hawks that have that technology on it.
Yep.
Huh. Man, I got to look into this now. And it must just be how the rotor cuts through the air, is it? Because that's what creates most of the noise.
Yeah, it's some kind of stealth Black Hawk they have out.
Oh, Yozik says reverse rotors. That sounds
I heard that when they were talking about
that. He'd be the man
to
know.
He would. Yeah.
I think I remember reading something about reverse rotors on the Afghan helicopters.
Well, the day is coming when, drones are basically silent or pretty close to it. You know what I mean? Like as far as, okay. I mean, they sound like a glorified bumblebee, but they're way quieter than a helicopter.
Yeah.
So kind of what I'm getting at is, at some point, I wonder if there'll just be a, large enough electric helicopter or drone style machine that could carry 5 or 6 people in, drop them off clandestinely, and then, do their thing. It would be, interesting to see.
The only problem is with the Blackhawks, you get that whoop, 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 and then you got the jet engine too.
Yeah.
Oh, it has a jet engine?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did not know that. Backwoods says they started putting holes in the rotator blades, and it helps muffle the sound. Listen to a podcast where they were talking about it yesterday. That's why I love our community. That makes sense. Okay. And guaranteed, if this is what we know, think about all the stuff that they do that we don't know yet, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I was the guys surround the house. They come in, and I love that when John's sitting there with the handgun and pops the guy. He's thinking again, internal dialogue. Okay, I'm going to have a helmet. I'm going to have Kevlar, or the whole suit. He says I'm going to have this to shoot.
Yep.
He did it.
Yeah, right below the nose.
And dude lets a zip of bullets up through the roof. But I was honestly, I've read the book 2 or 3 times, but every time I'm always friggin' worried for Michaela, because she's getting roughed around and pushed around. And what do you think, Nate?
When that scene happened, I was waiting for them to say that she got shot.
I was too. And I was also, when he was, muffling her, putting his hand over her mouth, I'm like, I know you have to do it, dude, but she is pregnant,
Yeah.
I know she's not going to break, but I was just worried. I kept thinking that too. It was like, oh. But then they go and shoot a little girl in the end, but thank God she didn't die, right?
Mm-hmm.
BBC reporters were kicked out of the country or arrested. Did you guys catch that?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. I thought that was, I don't know, an interesting line, or I like the little BBC blurbs that they included.
Yeah.
So on Goodreads, of course, there was some questions people had about this book or about the series in general. And one was, who was the spies, that we never got to find out. The other one was, what the hell do the codes mean? And everybody kept saying, I want to know about the codes. And it's like he completely forgot about them in book 3. So
they were in there, I thought.
Yeah. In the first chapter, when he and John was on the BBC, they said it there. I think it was the first or second chapter when he had the BBC report. It was in there.
Well, wasn't he on the BBC in book 2?
Yeah,
Or
book
was
2, but in book 3, they were on there once or twice. I heard them.
Okay. Yeah, Anyway, I don't remember it at all, but I would love to know. I'd love to find out what the codes mean, and I don't think I remembered to ask him when he was on the show last time. So if we can ever get him back, we'll find out. But I like this. Jody says, I was surprised at how well John maneuvered in someone else's junkie attic. I was actually thinking the same thing. I really was.
Yeah.
I can picture him stumbling around, so like some horror movie where they're in somebody's attic, you don't know where they are. And yeah, it was kind of funny. One thing that was, I don't know, maybe not cheesy, but this whole chapter of the home attack where John wakes up in a cold sweat for a dream of an attack, and then he wakes up from, I was like, that kind of thing plays better in a movie than in a book.
Yeah.
I was like, just whatever, it is what it is. So
it was the second attack. It wasn't the actual house attack, I thought. It was something else, I thought.
Oh no, you're right.
It was a helicopter flying over.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. My bad. I slid that too far back in my notes. So house is burning down. John goes back in to get rabbit Rabs. And I'm thinking, yep, I don't think anybody could have stopped me from going back in and doing it either. You back? Nope. Are you there, John Palmer?
Yeah, I had to make a stop. I got to make another stop here in a minute, but I've been listening in, just didn't have really anything to contribute either.
That's okay. We got you here, brother. Always enjoy having you. So the politician, they start talking quite a bit about the codes that they're breaking. And I love how they start, she starts picking, I forget, there was a certain letter that they found that repeated over R. Yeah, right. Because side R, that was the first of it.
Yeah.
And then when, I may have this mixed up a little in the timeline of the book, but I really liked when Ernie and his wife give that whole thick booklet of stuff to Bob. I think that's what finally put him over the edge, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
Because that's when he finally arrested, or I put quotation marks around it, arrested John, because I don't think he ever really arrested him, but took him back with him. Because I think he was trying to save face again or play the part, right?
Well, I think he was trying to keep him alive, and he even said that. He's like, either I take you in or you're going to end up dead tomorrow.
Right. And he's not wrong.
Yeah.
So, the politician sexting his girlfriend. I thought it was funny that Fortune used the word sexting. He used it just like an old man would use it, too. He's like, them darn kids on the internet sexting to each other, sending pictures of their genitals. And I'm thinking, no, didn't quite say it that way, but it was pretty funny. So, and I think my favorite part about that entire exchange was that it wasn't a throwaway line. It pays off in the end because you find out, oh man, anyway, it was, it was good. I appreciated the writing in this book because there wasn't any wasted, there was very little wasted plot points. Let's put it that way.
Yep.
What do we got? Bob puts him under arrest, and then I enjoyed the conversation with John and Bob's right-hand man. I don't know what you would call him.
Bentley or whatever his name was. Or...
Man, how the hell do you remember that? I'm going to start calling you Rachel.
I just threw back to it last night, so I mean, I made sure I was fresh on it. I remember reading.
Oh, damn! I listened to it today, and I didn't.
Giga Scales made him a colonel before he decommissioned or whatever it was.
Right. Yeah. I thought it was. I enjoy, or maybe enjoy is the wrong term, but it's kind of neat how everybody bonds over the story of how they've lost their family. Like everybody in the world has lost somebody. Mm-hmm. And it seems to be the common thread that everybody kind of much as they don't want to talk about it when they meet somebody new, that seems to be the topic that comes up.
Well, it's because everybody's lost something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's yeah. Who'd you lose where we can feel a little bit more human and talk to each other?
right. And I thought it was kind of neat because I don't know, it was book 1 or book 2. I think it was book 1 because that's where they were really starving. And they talked about how nobody ever spoke about food. Everybody was always thinking about food, but they never spoke about food. But they do speak about who they lost, and I enjoyed that. But yeah, so he wakes up in the morning, and they head to Gettysburg, or I think it was right on Gettysburg, or pretty close, right?
Yep. Yeah, he wakes him up because he was sleeping, and Bob comes stomping in with the Coleman candle or the Coleman light, and get your ass out of bed and let's go.
I thought that was quite funny, actually. He's like, he called him by his rank, and he says, "You get out of bed right now."
Yeah.
I mean, and I just realized this, but Bob did everything he did. He's in his 60s, and he did all of that, including his speech at the end on zero sleep. I think at that point, I never thought of it till just now, but it was probably 48 hours up straight at that point. Friggin' military. I don't know how they do it. So Rachel Brown says that he had his mistress in the high security area while his wife and kids were in Gen Pop.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
You know what? I never thought of that, Rachel, but you're right. That really would have been the only way that they never ran into each other, wouldn't it?
Yep.
What a dick. Oh, my God.
It's just typical politician.
Oh, I know. And then the thing is, I don't even think he was mad that it happened. He was just mad he got caught because you could hear him mumbling in the background when they talk about it. They put his dirty laundry out there. I was like, oh, this is great. Yeah, it was. I enjoyed that. So they get to the Site R, and the door is closed, locked. The guard says, can't let you in, sorry. And John puts the gun to his head and basically says, what did he say? You got 30 seconds? You open the door or I'm shooting you?
Yeah.
So I don't know if the answer to this question matters or not, but what do you guys think? Would he have shot the guy or not?
I don't think so.
No, I think he was done killing just for killing. I think he would have figured out another way to get in there, whether, maybe might have used the Apache can opener to light to move the steel door out of the way. But
I wondered that, and I think my opinion was I don't know if he knows whether he would have or not. That was kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah,
because everybody kept asking, "Would you have really done it?" Don't ask me that question. Night Yozik, and Yozik says yes, he would have shot him, and maybe. I think he probably would have kicked the families out of the building. What do you think about that one?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
I
think he'd done it. He knew how his people suffered. He thought they should suffer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think he flat out said that he's going to do that.
Yeah. I think, and I'm pretty sure he would have. I enjoyed some of John's speeches in this when he played Badass John, where he's like, "You got to know, man, I've executed a lot of buggers, and you're going to be the next one in line." And the dude literally pisses his pants while he's standing there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you know John, that I think that was more a bluff than anything. But the guy didn't know that, and that was the whole point of him doing it.
That's true, and John really builds up or leans into that reputation that he has, because he is. There's a throwaway line earlier in the book where Bob Scales says, "I don't think you realize, but you're known outside of your circles."
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that maybe emboldened him a little bit to speak up and be like, "Hey, you know who I am, right? I'm the dude that executes, drug thieving, cannibalistic type individuals. So yeah, here I am, and why not? If you can lean into that, I probably would too." Mr. Pellegrino, he is a caricature. I don't even look at him as a real character. The dude is like a cartoon. He's would they say he was overweight and he was government to a T.
Mhm.
And the dude was just like, he reminds me of I'm trying to think, like something, you know, the old Bugs Bunny cartoons. And if they'd have like a high class, overweight Southern gentleman, that's kind of what I was picturing.
Yeah.
Even though the
Boss
dude
Hog.
wasn't Southern. What's that?
Boss Hog.
Boss Hog. Yes. Boss, there you go. You know, yeah, that's perfect. Maybe that's who I was picturing and I couldn't think of it. But
Or the Colonel.
Yeah.
From KFC.
Yeah.
It's true. He does kind of, yeah. I can see that. But did he have a heart attack or did he just get like weak in the knees?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'd say he just got weak in the knee. He probably.
I don't think he ever in his entire life had. I don't know. He's probably one of them dudes that never handled a gun, let alone had one up to his head or anything like that. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. And then, of course, so this is where, I mean, yeah. So breaking into the site the underground bunker, I loved, and the revelation of the fact that all of these hoity-toity people's families are under there or down there for 2.5 years at this point.
Yeah.
Basically living high on the hog, smoking cigarettes and, you know, eating as much as they needed to. And I think the thing that pissed me off the worst was that the radio chatter earlier on when they picked up the fact that they were complaining about how bad the food was down there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, did they not
Thought
tell
it
them
was
Go ahead,
thought
Bart.
it was smoking cigarettes and watching Captain Kangaroo.
Yeah.
Well, and they also said they let the kids out every couple hours or once a day for a couple hours to go upstairs.
In the dark, wasn't it?
Yeah. How did that not get figured out over time?
That's what I was wondering. I mean, I guess maybe nobody was watching the what do you call it? Satellites? I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, but if you're in the area, you'd think you'd hear it.
Yeah. Especially with no sound, you know, there's no planes, no traffic. You would hear kids screaming and hollering. And
I assumed that it was maybe is Gettysburg in a rural area or is it or does anybody know? Rachel, if Rachel's still in here, she can tell us, but
nope, she's gone.
Oh, she's gone. Okay. Because it was I'm guessing they probably took some special ops guys out with them or some security guys that probably just dispatched anybody who maybe came along. I don't know. I could be wrong.
yeah.
Well, here, let me look it up.
I know in the TV show Jeremiah, one of my favorites. It's pretty cheesy now if you watch it, but they go to I want to say it was Thunder Mountain they called it, but that's based on the Disney thing. I'm not sure anyway, but that's what it is. It's this big like NORAD missile silo in a mountain, and it's got these great big 3-foot thick steel doors that shut up. And that's what I pictured when I seen it. Yozik says gaining weight down there, 1 shower every 3 days and communal laundry. Yeah, tough friggin' life, ain't it?
Yeah.
And Yozik says Gettysburg is very rural, so maybe that's what it is then. But
I'm looking it up right now to see the overhead of what it is.
Politician's wife. I just wrote down. Politician's wife is a bitch. There's no getting around it. She's a self-centered, just one of them that doesn't think her shit stinks. You know.
Her name should have been Karen.
I was waiting for her to say, "I want to talk to your supervisor." Or your
supervisor.
What was it? No, your what the next whoever your chain of command is. You know.
Yeah.
She was not used to being told no. And I liked this. It was fun to see these people kind of beat down a little bit. And I enjoyed it. So
yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It is pretty rural.
Is it? I kind of figured if they were going to build this. In chapter 18, it said there was about 25,000 people down there. And so if they were going to build a bunker that could hold that many people, you would think you'd want it in somewhat of a rural area. But I guess maybe people didn't worry about it. But wouldn't you have thought somebody would have noticed dozens and dozens and dozens of helicopters coming in there on the day? But maybe I guess once the lights went out, nobody cared anymore, right?
Yeah, I mean, who knows? They could have cleaned the place out and, being it was one of the presidents, like is Eisenhower, they said. I think
Ike, was that what he?
That it was Eisenhower National Historic Site is right there. So I would imagine that the Secret Service has not allowed people to move in the area.
That makes sense. So the wife goes crazy and basically causes her daughter to get shot. It does get pretty tense for a little while.
Yeah.
Because John realizes it's basically just him and two other people, and they're kind of slowly getting surrounded by an angry mob.
Yeah.
And she just won't shut up. She drives me crazy. I was listening to it today. I was filling water jugs for the daycare, and I'm listening to it. I'm like, just shut up, lady. Do you not have... She's just not used to... I picture her as like those TikTok Karens that just don't know when they've lost.
Oh, yeah. 100% Karen with the correct haircut.
Yep. Oh, that's what I was picturing,
Yeah.
And but I gotta say, I loved it when John's just like, this lady's a bitch. And he asks himself, should I really tell her about her husband? He's like, yeah, I'm gonna tell her.
Yeah.
And he tells her, and I laughed. I was like, I could see, I don't know, when he was writing the book, thinking, should I really push it this far or not? And I'm gonna.
Sure, why not?
Yeah. And I laughed, and it was bad. So from there, I guess we find out at that point that there's an even more secure base inside of that bomb shelter. And we don't really know who's in there, do we? I don't know if it really says. It was a little more quiet about that, was it?
Yeah, I think it was the higher ups of the higher ups.
Yeah.
Maybe some of the family members of the presidential.
Because did anybody catch that? Remember when they were talking to the little girl that got, I assume, it was the girl that got shot eventually, but he was asking her, when did they take you out of the school? And did you catch that she mentioned that the president's kids didn't leave?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the president was killed during it, right? Wasn't that the idea?
Yeah, Air Force One wasn't hard enough.
Right. So in other words, I don't think he was in on whatever happened. Somebody wanted to get rid of him and his family, it seems. Yozik says Richie.
And it was what, 10 a.m.? I think it was 5 p.m. when the EMP went off.
It had 8 hours notice. And like they said, what could we have done with, maybe it wasn't 8 hours, maybe it was 5 hours, whatever it was, but what could they have done with that kind of time, But so I kind of enjoyed, so the final scene or the final chapter is Bob giving his speech. There's some really tense moments where Bob and John are fighting with Bluemont. And I enjoyed that because it started out with yet another kind of, big feeling woman on the other side of the phone to John giving her a good dress down. He's like, listen here, I'm going to scorch the entire thing and you're going to be stuck with it. And so I enjoyed that. And Bob, I really liked the fact that they said Bob Scales gave a solid 30-minute speech based on a few scratched down notes. And he was so eloquent. And I appreciated that about him for sure. Jody says the back section was the dark money that really runs the country. I couldn't be said better myself, I don't think. They said at one point a few people tried to sneak out the back door. Yeah. And they were quickly suppressed and sent back inside.
Yeah.
And then there was the epilogue, which I liked. The school reopened. I thought that was a pretty cool bookend. So do you guys think this was originally the last book? Or,
could be.
Yeah. I mean, there's really no way to.
Yeah, because he put the school opening and made Bob's president, so I thought he maybe ended on a high note.
One other thing I forgot to mention, I thought it was kind of funny. They doctored up John's speech, or what he said. They edited it really bad to make him sound like a real dick.
Yeah.
And apparently, they kind of ruined his reputation a bit for a while, but I'm sure
sounds about right.
Yeah, I assumed that would happen. Always ahead, So this book, I was actually surprised. Actually had the highest rating on Goodreads of all 3 of the books, which kind of surprised me because I figured 1 Second After would have the highest one.
Huh.
But it had a 4.12. 1 Year After had a 3.98, and 1 Second After had a 3.96. So 1 Second After was actually the lowest rated book on there, which didn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. But let's see. I guess I only saved one really bad review. I found one here. It was books 2 and 3. This was a 1-star review from Goodreads. I thought it was kind of funny. But books 2 and 3 are boring and irritating. The author's voice comes through as judgmental and condescending. The characters keep calling people idiots for not preparing for doomsday and for relying on technology. All the good characters are exactly the same. Honorable, morally flawless, patriotic, and all the bad guys are also the same. Cowardly, weak, greedy. It was just ridiculous to believe. I don't know where this person was coming from on this. I mean, the part about the good characters being honorable, flawless, I mean, patriotic, sure, but I don't think there's a single protagonist in these books that were morally flawless. Everybody was, I thought he did just the perfect job of balancing everybody. Like, people had to do what they had to do. And so sometimes that meant hanging cannibals from a streetlight or shooting some meth heads who stole morphine from, like, that ain't morally flawless, I don't think. What do you think, Nate?
Yeah, it seems a little morally. There definitely seems to be a little bit of an issue there. Yeah,
I think so. I don't know. What do you think, Byron?
Yeah, I mean, because nobody was really, they all did something good or bad. So I mean, everybody had a dark side to them during this. So
yeah,
I thought so.
I would say you almost have to in that situation where you're trying to control your area. So whether it's with the posse coming in or the Fredericks of the world or the Blue Mountain people. So
I'm going to see if I can. Just give me a second here. I'm going to share. Going to show up. There we go. So this is book 4, 5 years after, a John Matherson novel. And I want to see, let's see here. Okay. So they don't give you much to go by. 5 years after the final day, the Republic of New America has all but collapsed into regional powers, and the world at large is struggling to remain stable as regional conflicts ravage the post-EMP landscape. Quiet life. I always love this. Sounds good. John Matherson receives the news that the president is dying from a possible assassination attempt. Oh, I haven't read this before, so this is kind of cool. And is asked to step in to negotiate with what appears to be a new military power hidden in the wreckage of the world. Pulled back into the fray, John struggles to hold the tottering republic together. Facing threats on multiple fronts, he races against time to stop another EMP attack on the former United States and China, putting years of progress at risk. With so much of his work under threat, John must find strength within to start over so that it can save the country and the people that he holds dear from even greater calamity. What do you think, Nate?
It's going to be a little interesting. Is there an audiobook available?
Yep. Okay. I've already spent a credit on it. So,
all right.
Where is it? August 22nd. It's coming out. So there'll be hardcover, Kindle, and audiobook. So yeah, it's only 352 pages.
It's a short book.
Yeah, because let me see here.
This book was only 353, I think.
Oh, I thought it was way longer than that.
Yeah,
never mind. Let's see here. I'm gonna see if I can find the.
Okay. 335 is what it is on my.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go. Then I thought it was. I don't know where I got 600 pages from. But yeah, there's no way it was 600 pages. So Jody said she used her credit on it too. Absolutely. I'm excited. I can't wait for it to show up. I think it's only the third time I've pre-ordered an audiobook yet. So I'm kind of excited.
Yeah, I've already pre-ordered it with a credit too.
Oh, John's still here. Hey, bud. No.
I'll have to buy it and read it.
Yeah, Backwoods says it's concerning how ready I am to go full Negan from The Walking Dead. Yeah. Oh, so Yozik's still talking about the flawless thing. He said the way he nearly stole the insulin at the beginning.
Yeah.
True. There's.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say if you want to compare John from this book, from this series, and Morgan from the Going Home series, I think the difference between Morgan and John is that John knows he's flawed, and I don't think Morgan does. You know what I mean? Like, maybe, I don't know, but at least everything he does, he is 100% convinced that what he's doing is the right thing.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, but I'm stoked. I'm looking forward to it. It's fun when we get a new book in the new series. But yeah, I don't know. It should be good. And so let's go around the horn, and I mean, we kind of have an idea, but anybody want to make some predictions? Let's start with what main character do you think we're going to see either die or has died since? You start, Nate.
Well, I'm still kind of waiting on the complications with Michaela.
Okay.
I'll be interested to see how they play that off, but being there hasn't been, I have a feeling, A, it's going to be a girl, and B, she's doing fine, and C, she's named Jenny.
Yeah, I wondered if they were going to do that.
I don't know, maybe Forrest dies? I don't know.
Maybe Forrest loses his other... No, I better not.
Yeah.
Poor Forrest.
Yeah.
What do you think, Byron?
I think that he's in our... Forrest might be the one, or was it Maury, the helicopter pilot?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Kind of the right-hand guy with him, too. So, I mean,
not going to kill his other daughter, are they?
I don't know, that, or maybe this New Republic, she gets drafted, or her husband will get drafted into the...
That could be.
Fray.
Oh, not to cut it. I just thought of this. When they talk about Ernie, I think it was Ernie. Is he the one whose daughter married a reclusive author that they keep talking about?
Yes.
Or they never said who he was or anything other than he was a reclusive author, did they? Yeah. Or did I miss that?
Yeah, I don't think they ever said it. What name of a book or his name.
So I'm hoping they introduce whoever. I don't know. Maybe it's just a throwaway line that means nothing at all. But to me, it seemed like something that he was building toward, and it never happened. So, what do you think, John? Anybody you want to make a prediction on who's going to die in the next book?
Ah, man. I keep thinking Michaela, but I'm thinking that's too obvious, I don't know.
Well, didn't they kill Grace off in this one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Grace got killed in protecting the little girl
bunker.
Yeah.
So I'm going to make this crazy prediction because I don't know why. I think Fortune's done writing these books. I think he's tired of writing them. I think he's going to kill John at the end of this book. I have no reason to think that whatsoever, but I'm going to make the crazy, insane prediction that John dies in the end.
I can see that.
I don't know. Maybe
why
I'm
not
wrong.
just make it a nuclear strike and kill everybody? Then you're sure to be done with them.
Yeah, he's like, the publisher comes back and they're like, all right, we really want you to write a fifth one. He's like, how do I write a fifth one? I nuked the whole damn world. 2 words for you, buddy. Prequel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right. So speaking about nukes, did anybody catch the nuke blast that they were talking about in the book?
20 megaton?
It was Starfish Prime.
Yeah. Yep.
So, Tim, I sent you a photo on Telegram.
Okay, I seen something come through there. Let me check.
That is the flash seen through the clouds in Honolulu 900 miles away from the blast.
Right. I think we talked about this one time, didn't we?
Yeah. So this is the only known EMP that has actually affected the electrical grid, and it
That
wiped out the electrical grid in Honolulu.
not much you can see there, but I mean, it looks like fire in the sky. That's what it
Yeah.
looks like. Those who are on the audio for sure.
So and I thought that was pretty funny to hear them bring that up. That's, as somebody who's kind of gone down that rabbit hole looking into all the nuclear tests, it was interesting that he brought that one up.
He does his research. I love it. He wrote a bunch of alternative history books, I think, on the Civil War or something. I'd be quite interested in reading them. It's just that the problem is I probably don't know what the actual history is that he's alternating from, you know?
Yeah.
But it would be, I'd be interested. I hope he keeps writing, because I don't know, it's fun. I enjoy revisiting these series for sure, because I was trying have you read World Made by Hand, Nate?
Not yet.
No, it's worth reading, and I would love to have another book in that series, but he hates that book series, the guy who wrote it, so much that we're never going to see another one. But have you read it?
I actually went looking for Mike Krause's series, and I don't remember the name of it because they mentioned Damocles in this book.
Okay.
And Damocles was a computer virus that was based off of the series of 12 books that Mike Krause wrote.
Really? And that's mentioned in this book?
The computer virus, yes.
Oh, okay. And what was it, Mike Krause?
Yeah, it's Mike Krause. I'd have to go back. Give me a second. I'll look it up.
Sure.
But it was actually a pretty good series. And I was looking for the audiobooks because I needed something different.
Was it like post-apocalyptic or just kind of a... Yeah,
Yep.
Okay. It's hard to find anything good. Like, I don't know. Maybe I've just... Yeah.
And it's a book set of 12.
Okay. I'm going to bring this up let me just find Audible here so I can tell you the name of it. Well, not Audibler, but Audible. I just finished a book, I don't know, about a week ago. I posted, every so often I'll find these lists of post-apocalyptic books to read that they just come up in my Google feed. So I posted one in if anybody's not part of the book club Telegram group, we can give you the link. We'll get you in there. But this was on that list. So I'm going to see if I can find the name of it here. Leave the World Behind, it was called. And it wasn't bad. It's a modern story. It was written in 2020. It takes place basically today. And it's a couple and their daughter and kid who rent an Airbnb. They go live out in the woods, or they go to the Airbnb in the woods, and then the world starts ending. It's really weird. It was okay. I mean, if you need something to read for those who are out there listening, here, let me see if I can. I'm gonna.
Yeah, I found the series.
Okay, go ahead, Nate. You tell one.
It's Surviving the Fall from Mike Krause.
Surviving? Okay.
It's a 12 series book, and it's Mike Kraus.
Surviving the Fall?
Yep.
Krous?
AUS.
All right.
And it's a 12 series book, and it parallels him and his wife. So he's dealing with it going across the country, like going home.
Yep.
Where she's at home with the kids.
So Jody is looking for a post-apocalyptic book like this from a female point of view.
That would be your book.
I've got some more for you while we're talking. So let's see if I can. I don't think there's anything inappropriate in my Audible account here, so we should be good to scroll through it. But no. Let's see here. So the 299 Days series.
I saw Atlas Shrugged.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. See if we can find it here. So the 299 Days series, Glenn Tate's wife, Shelley Gallagher, wrote was it a 3 or 4 book companion series? I'm trying to find it here because my brain isn't working. Also, okay, let's work our way through. First off, Charlie's Requiem. This is written from a female perspective. It's written by A. American. It's co-written with Walt Browning. I didn't love it as much as Going Home, but it's written by that author, and it's a cool book. Lights Out, is that another series? She was a female pilot that has to make her way home after an EMP event. I think it's Lights Out. I could be wrong.
That kind of sounds like what happened in Surviving the Fall. I know one of the women in Surviving the Fall was a military person.
Yes. Okay, Kayla Stone. Nope. Hang on, guys. So yeah, A Great State. Here they are, guys.
Yep.
So this is The Divide by Shelley Gallagher. And she's a single mom who is broke as a joke, and she starts prepping, but she has to like clip coupons. I mean, she has no money at all. It's really cool. I really like especially the first few chapters of the first book. So you might like that one, Jody. And like I said, Charlie's Requiem's another one. Let's see. And then some of the very first books that I read in the post-apocalyptic genre, way back. Let me see here. I think this is probably this one right here. So if you guys can see that now, right there. The SHTF series by L.L. Ackers. It's 4 books in it, and it is written from a female perspective as well. I really enjoyed them. Shoot like a girl, run like a girl, fight like a girl. And then later on, this one came out, Wait Like a Stone. And if you're wondering, yes, that is from Chris Cornell's song, Like a Stone or Stone. Do you guys know that one? Is it Audio Slave that he sings it? Anyway, he was in so many bands. But yeah, that's what the song's from. So it's good. Now that we get talking about it, there's quite a few female-centric going home style books.
Yep.
You think of any other ones, Nate?
The only one that I remember kind of paralleled the two views of him trying to come home and the wife's view at home.
Oh, when was that one?
That's Surviving the Fall. I just sent you the link to it.
Oh, okay. Here, I'm going to share the screen again here.
Yep.
Give me a second.
And it's a 12-series book, and a lot of it has to do with it's not a nuclear. It's actually a computer virus.
Okay.
And it's an interesting take on it.
How's the writing? Is it okay?
I liked it.
You know what? Yeah, it's got a 4.15 on Goodreads.
Yeah, I would say it's comparable to Going Home.
Okay.
It gets better as it goes a little bit further.
I am looking for a new series. How is the narrator?
I think the ones I found were on YouTube. They're not there anymore. So I have a hard time if the narrator is shit. I can't listen to it.
Neither can
I blew through these in about probably 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Okay.
So
you and I seem to have pretty comparable tastes, so I'll trust your opinion this time.
Yeah,
so.
It was very good.
Yozik says Atlas Shrugged. Hey, that is definitely a female-centric, more of a collapse book as opposed to a post-apocalyptic, maybe a pre-apocalyptic, or definitely a collapse book for sure.
Yeah.
Have I asked you, Byron, have you read Atlas Shrugged yet or not?
I've read already 3/4 of it. I just I'll go back and read when we start again.
That's okay. I'm looking forward to it. This winter, we're going to have fun with it. So,
oh yeah,
especially doing a few chapters at a time. So that'll be
It won't be bad. Shameless plug for tomorrow night, but Becky and I are having another Friday Night Live episode, and we've been watching that new show Silo on Apple TV. Anybody heard about that at all? It's post-apocalyptic. It's really good. We're 4 episodes in, and if we're still watching it at 4 episodes, we're enjoying it, because usually, an episode or 2, we're like, nah, this is good. And I dig it. The cast is good. It's a mystery story, but it's it's good. And nobody else has seen it?
I have not.
Well, we're going to talk about, we'll try not to spoil anything, but we're only 4 episodes in, so
Is it
Hey,
on anything other than Apple TV?
No, I think it's the only place.
We're not.
I
Gonna have
know.
it.
Apple
Yeah,
TV is
I don't
miserable.
have Apple TVs right now.
Only reason we have it's because I think last time we bought an iPhone, they give it to us for 2 years or something. That's not a good sign for them.
Yeah, that's the reason I have HBO.
So while we're still on here, where does this head next, Nate? I think we decided we were taking August off, didn't we?
Yeah, I thought we were taking August off, and then we're going to start Atlas Shrugged.
Okay, we can do. What's that?
I thought that's what we're going to do, unless we're going to do book 4.
I think you know what.
book 5.
Yeah, let's do book 4 in September, and then we'll start Atlas Shrugged in October. How's that sound?
Works for me.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
don't forget book 5 where after he nukes everybody. So.
that's true. Yes, it's a 4-page report on
Yeah.
And
Hey,
go ahead, John. Oh, did we lose him? You still there, John?
or did I lose you?
Oh, you're
Yeah.
good now. Go ahead.
When y'all was listing off the female authors, did y'all? I didn't hear because I was dealing with something. Did y'all list the Edge of Collapse by I think it's Kayla Stone?
Kyla Stone.
Kyla Stone, yeah.
You know what? I just scrolled by that in my Audible account. I couldn't remember if that was female centric or only part of it. So yes, that's right.
It's written by a female. It's from a female point of view mostly, and it's narrated by a female. So yeah, it's totally.
We might have to. Anyway, not like I have time to do this, but I was just thinking we'll have to put together a website at some time or a place where we could keep lists of these books so that people could find them. That would be pretty handy, you know. Oh, Haas says he got the patch. Oh, right on. But so then that'll be the plan. We'll take an August vacation. We'll come back in September for book 5, and then October we will.
I messed you up.
Jesus! Book 4. I hope we don't have to live through book 5. Not yet, anyway. And then
Sorry about that.
So, hey, Tim, now that you've read Atlas Shrugged,
yes.
Did you catch the Atlas Shrugged reference in this book?
I don't think so. And you might tell me, and then I'll be like, oh yeah, I do, but no, I don't remember it.
When he said the from each that they can, it's the big.
Oh yeah. Well, that I thought that was a communism reference.
It is.
Yeah.
But I heard that and I immediately thought Atlas Shrugged.
What was it to each?
To each from their
what is
ability to each of their need.
Yeah.
I think is what it is.
Communist saying?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
Here. From each according to his ability to each according to his needs.
Yeah.
There it is. Okay. The principle refers to free access to and the distribution of goods, capital, and service. Yeah.
And he said half of that line, and I'm like, Atlas Shrugged.
Yeah, it's true. Yozik says, can you do playlists or dream lists on Goodreads? Yeah. You know what? I wonder if we could do, it would be kind of cool if we could do a community Goodreads account where we shared the password and everybody could upload their favorite books or something. That's a great idea, Yozik. What's that?
Yeah, 'cause I've read quite a few books that are older post-apocalyptic.
Huh. All right. You got me thinking now. Maybe that's a winter project, but we could come up with something like that, some way to rank the books, and we could each give a rating. I don't know. Anyway, it would be cool because I think it would be a good resource because it seems like pretty much everybody in the prepping field is an audiobook junkie or a book junkie in general because I don't know.
And the one thing I like about Surviving the Fall, is it's not another EMP book.
Okay.
Because honestly, once you've read 2 or 3 of them, they all get monotonous. So it was like and that's why I like Atlas Shrugged so much because it's not that.
Right. It's a collapse book, but it's more than that. I mean, it's a philosophy textbook. It's I don't know. It's science fiction. It's a little bit of I wanted to call it it's not cyberpunk, noir or something, but I guess it's noir because it was, it's 40, 50 years, 60 years old now, something like that. So
Right. Yeah. And then you get into Surviving the Fall and it's more of a computer, everything shuts down type deal.
I'm
But
gonna have to try it out.
yeah, I liked it. I need to go find it again and see exactly where I got it, because I wanted to listen to it as soon as I finish this one again.
Jody says, because prepping and reading both require thinking. Not too common these days. That is 100% unfortunate.
Yeah.
I don't know what's happening. I don't know if it's the hot air or what it is, but yeah, you're right. So
That's because thinking hurts my head.
well, let's go around the horn here, guys, and I don't know, tell me where I don't. Yeah, anyway, Nate, what do you're one half of the Two Chicks farmstead, right?
Yep, I'm the bearded half of Two Chicks Homestead. You can find us at twochickshomestead.com. And one thing I am working on, and we should have listed within the next week or two, possibly this weekend if it rains, do consulting on ham radio stuff.
I'm excited for that. Yes.
So you can book me for a couple, an hour or a couple hours, and I'll walk you through what you need and give you help out and answer some questions, and we'll do a one-on-one deal.
Are you running that through Only Hams?
Yes, only
Okay,
hams.
Sorry.
So we will have it on our we'll list it on our Etsy account, but if anybody wants to get a hold of me ahead of time, we can do it through our email, which is info@twochickshomestead.com.
Nice. And Byron, you're usually where? Hanging out in the Telegram group?
Yeah, Telegram group, and I got a couple Instagram pages try to use. I'm trying to get back into it, but not having luck.
It's good to have you. I love this. It's fun, So
I've got my prepping page and gardening is Byron_Roberts06 on Instagram, and my Jeep Center page is FoolishHabit_LJ on Instagram. So.
Next time around, I'll have them ready and I'll share them for you. That'll give you a little motivation to keep going.
Yeah, I've got some more prepping stuff I need to do to my personal page. I'd like to rework it. I've got some ideas and that I want to try and just see if it works.
That's you know what? That's half the reason I do content is because it forces me to get shit done. Because I'm like, got to do a video. So
yeah, I got to do another $20 challenge. So
what are those? What are $20 challenge?
I did a $20 challenge. I had to look at my phone date. This was 2021.
Okay.
$20 to go to the grocery store, see what you can get prepping wise for $20. Ooh. I wanted to, now a year or so ago, what versus now?
Huh. Do they even let you in the grocery store with $20 now?
Right?
No, you got to show them more. So
okay, you're like, I got more. I'm just only spending $20.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I'll throw a picture in the Telegram group what my $20 spent before.
Okay.
So.
I'd like that. I'll share it around, man. I'd love to hear that. So, and Backwoods Butcher says he just pulled a skull out of the freezer to clean because he's light on content. There you go. And Jody's sad because we're not having a book club in August. You can have your own, Jody. I don't mind. Go ahead if you guys want to do something. I'll get you set up. But we're going to be We'd originally figured it was because I was going to be traveling, but I'll move that around a little bit till September. But how about you, John Palmer? What are you up to?
I'd like to say that you could find me in the Telegram group, but only if you look for me, because I'm really bad. I'm so bad about just not being a social person at all. I don't know. I think I used to be social, and I think the older I get, the more I can't stand to be around people a lot.
It's all right. You know what? That's what I love about this community is it reaches a whole. You come once a month onto the book club, and it's great. And here you are, right?
Yeah, yep. That's why I don't talk too much, because I figure if I talk too much, y'all might kick me out. So.
It's all right. We're all allowed to talk. That's why I started this, is so Becky doesn't have to listen to me anymore. So. Well, boys, this was fun, and I got that, Nate. So if you guys, so let me see. Tomorrow night. So coming up this week, tomorrow night, regular Friday night show with Becky, and Sunday night interview is actually moved to Monday, and I got Jake from Ravenwood Acres coming on. He was nice enough to move it for me because I forgot that we were going to see Bill Burr do stand-up comedy, so we'll see what that is. But so we moved Sunday night show to Monday night, and that's what's coming up this week. So, yeah, I appreciate you, boys. We'll take a break for August. Don't drink too much bourbon, and we'll be back in September. So stay happy, stay healthy, and have a great week, folks.